So part of this new daily content thing of mine, new, it's been like 6 months now, has been my desire to get out a lot of stuff that's been percolating in my brain for way too long, and sometimes it has nothing to do with what we normally talk about here on the channel. I'll just, I did a wrestling video. I've done Pokemon card openings. I've done all kinds of different things outside of just the usual Transformers and the occasional Kamen Rider, because I kind of want to be known for more than that, and I kind of want to see what everyone else responds to, hence today's video. I am a massive Mega Man fan. I have been ever since I was a kid, and I would argue that it is my favorite video game franchise of all time. Big things, stating something for someone who has like 600 hours in Borderlands 2. But I love Mega Man. Absolutely love my Mega Man. It's my wallet. It's my obsession. It's probably the toy that's outside of Transformers that I have the most of. So things, of course, go on in my head anytime someone brings up Mega Man, like psychotic rage at what they did with Mega Man Legends 3, or like the absolute like disbelief that they take what used to be their mascot over at Capcom and completely shelve him with just an occasional retro game once in a while. Don't get me wrong, Mega Man 11 was actually really good. They didn't follow up on it, and it's not the most popular Mega Man franchise in America. That would probably go toward X. So give me a Mega Man X9, then I'll be a happy Mega Man fan again. Until then, we're kind of left wondering what they're going to do with who's someone supposed to be a legendary video game character, been around almost as long as Mario, longer than Sonic, but does not get brought up as with nearly as much reverence or retro, like a retro love, out of lack of a better term. So let's give Mega Man a little bit of love. This is something that has been boiling in my head for a long, long time, even longer than like Mega Man 11, because when they did Mega Man 9 and 10, they went super old school, 8-bit style, and I hated it. The games were good, don't get me wrong, but when you look at Mario, when you look at like Mario, Zelda, Sonic, all of the franchises that existed back then, and see what they did in the modern day and how they modernized themselves, kind of look back at franchises like Mega Man and go like, where is yours? Where is Mega Man's 3D game? And I almost want to say Mega Man Legends not doing well for Capcom is probably a big reason why they never took classic Mega Man to 3D. We know what a disaster Mega Man X7 was, so obviously they would be kind of gun shy about going any farther with that, especially with the classic vintage series. But those were missteps. Legends didn't fail because of the concept or the gameplay. It failed because, it's not the best looking game even on the PlayStation 1. And it's a clunky game, let's admit. Capcom wasn't used to making 3D games at the time. It doesn't control great. It's not like the smoothest game in the world. They can do a lot better now, though. And Mega Man X7 was a disaster all the way around. Yeah, Burn It to the Ground is going to be burned into my mind, for lack of better phrasing, forever, thanks to that game. I would still argue X6 is worse, but that's a debate. That's a whole other video. That's a whole other rant. Today, I kind of want to go through all the ideas I have had and going and telling myself, shouldn't Mega Man be like this now? Isn't it long overdue that this is the kind of Mega Man game we're going? So I am going through a long-winded intro just to go, this is what I would do with a brand new Mega Man game. So first and foremost, gotta be 3D. Gotta modernize, gotta bring it into the full dimension. Now, there's plenty of run and gun 3D games now. Capcom's gotten far better at making three-dimensional games since Mega Man Legends and X7, but I feel like there is a blueprint. I feel like there is a perfect franchise where you can look at this and go, this is probably how a three-dimensional Mega Man needs to play out, and that is Ratchet and Clank. Aside from just being a really good 3D platformer, it is a game made for hordes of enemies and lots of varieties of guns, plenty of stuff for Mega Man to work with. Not that you rip it off directly, but you definitely take cues from how the gameplay works. You don't do first person. You know, they plan to do that with the X series. Yeah, good thing that got canceled. It looked terrible. You don't do first person Mega Man. Uh, what you do is, you know, that 3D style where you get to see the whole character, you get to see, you know, the weapon in hand, and all that. And then that creates your, you know, it creates your evolution of like the Mega Man gameplay style. Rather than watching him from the side, you're watching him from the back, but you can still see Mega Man in the game, and you can still actively work with the platforming elements of the game. Mega Man is known for tricky platform elements, which is something that usually works best in 2 dimensions. I'm sure Capcom can come up with, you know, vanishing blocks, you know, conveyor belts, etc., that would translate well to 3 dimensions without, you know, having like that disconnect and that feeling like this is like you know, like you're not quite sure where you are. I think that's always the problem in 3D platformers. It's like the awareness that you have for your character. There's ways to get around that now. We've gotten a lot better at that kind of thing. So that's where I feel like you need to go. Uh, in regards to robot masters and weaponry, uh, I do want to stick to the more classic styles of robot masters. So let's come up with one right now. Let's come up with one right now that I totally didn't make up 20 years ago, and I'm just now getting to talk about. We're going to call him Gearman. And he is, as you would think in his name, you picture a robot master from Mega Man. You know, metallic gray armored body, maybe some like some darker blue elements underneath, and gear motif. Gears spinning on the chest, gears spinning on the shoulders, maybe a mohawk gear. You get the idea. So Gearman's weapon is going to be the bounding gear. The bounding gear is going to be able to, is basically like if you threw a gear and just watch it bounce, bounce, bounce. It's like a bouncing buzzsaw essentially. And it's going to bounce off walls. So in a narrow corridor or a small room, this thing bounces all over the place, creates an effective weapon in the right situation. What we're going to do what we're going to do to make this a little bit more interesting, we're going to set it so that the weapons in this game have different abilities that you don't normally get in Mega Man games. So the bounding gear would also be able to fit into machines in stages. So if you see something that looks like a jammed machine, like it's trying to move, but there's an obvious gear in the middle missing, and it's trying to move and it's just like sparking and out of commission, you fire the bounding gear in there, things start whirling like they're supposed to, and all of a sudden there's a platform that actually moves up and down now like it's supposed to. And it leads to a different section of the stage, so you can go a completely different path before. Maybe there's a rush power up in there. Maybe it's just a place with some extra lives hidden. Or maybe it's a completely different direction and you lead to a completely different final room where the boss lies. So instead of just a boss fight where like it's just like a flat wide open room, now you might be in close quarters, or there might be different levels to the room. So now you've created a more complicated boss fight, but it gives you some variety. You know, it changes the behavior of the fight so that you can traverse the stage more than once and get a little bit more experience out of it. And also, of course, there's stuff to unlock if you do that way. And I came up with a lot of tricks like that. I can't remember all of them. Now, if you sat me down, like I could probably rattle off like all the different robot masters I've been drawing since I was a kid, and probably pick out like the perfect cast, the 8 robot masters I would pick for this stage. Right now, we're just kind of getting like the conception of this in mind. So you have bosses that when you fight them, they aren't completely obvious. So if you're fighting Gear Man and you think, well, metal is conductive, the electric weapon is no. In fact, that actually powered him up. His attacks are faster now. Fire weapon? Maybe we can melt the No, 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 no. That's not. That's no. That's bouncing off of them. That's huh. So what do I use? No. Have you tried the wind weapon? Have you tried the wind weapon to overload his gears that are spinning on him like windmills? Just a thought. Things like that. Like I want to twist that Mega Man formula of, oh, well, this is the fire enemy, so clearly I use the water weapon on the fire enemy. No, that's so old hat, you know? I would like to have weaknesses that make sense if you observe the character design and behavior more rather than just like a Pokemon game of what element beats what. You use the water weapon against the fire enemy, and their flames heat up so much it evaporates the water before it hits them. That's how you do a fire enemy with no water weakness. So, what is going to hurt the fire enemy? Well, I have no idea. like I said, if I sat down, I could pattern out all of this, and I could like, these are the 8 robot masters. This is the order you fight them. This is why this weapon hurts this one. Right now, we're just getting conceptual stuff out of the way. And speaking of, one of the big elements I wanted to do to change like fundamental gameplay of Mega Man and twist it up so it's a little bit more interesting. I wanted to have a new system to use the weapons. Now, they did a dual gear system in Mega Man 11, which is basically just a power up. And I feel like that's fine, but it also basically it basically apes charge weapons from Mega Man X, which I'm not a fan of doing that. Like I'd rather just Mega Man just have standard weapons with no power up. But there's other things you can do. I really like Mega Man 11's idea of the weapons change Mega Man's physical armor rather than just his color. Now, I would like to stick to more traditional just color change. So Mega Man using the bounding gear would be silver and dark blue, but I want to change it so that there are 2 ways of using each weapon. The first way would be to arm the weapon. Traditional Mega Man style, you fire it, it drains ammo, you collect power-ups to regain your ammo, etc. But I also want to be able to equip the weapons. So if you equip the bounding gear, then it's going to appear as a section of armor on the back of Mega Man's boots, which is going to include a gear kind of like the spur on a cowboy's boots. That's going to be able to speed Mega Man through the stage. They use the like Heelys, kind of, now that I think of it. But it lets you use a speed dash. If you remember this dash from Mega Man Legends, similar to that. You know, it's a little drifty, it's a little floaty, but it's very fast. Gets you through a stage a lot quicker. Great for speed running. Speedrunners are going to eat that up. And to make it more interesting, I would love it if you could mix and match. So like you can equip one weapon as like your movement ability, or in some cases utility. So things that would interact with the stage or like particular objects in certain stages. And then you would also be able to arm a different weapon. So your color would change to designate the weapon. Your physical form would change to designate the tool you are using. That creates a lot more different gameplay elements. It lets you create new movement options from Mega Man. It lets you create a whole new array of like directions you can go in a particular stage. It feels like the evolution to me that Mega Man's weaponry should have taken. Rather than just the same old equipment over and over and over again, the same weapons. The thing is, you play a Mega Man game, you're gonna pick your favorite weapon, you're gonna stick to it, or you're gonna switch to a weapon when it's situational, and then you're gonna switch back to the Mega Buster. Big whoop. There's a lot. I don't know if it's just me, but like when I play a lot of Mega Man games, there's some weapons I just never use. Did you ever use Thunderbolt? Really? Did you ever seriously find a practical application for that weapon? Now, in my version, You know, if we had something like Thunderwool, then, you know, mayhaps instead of just creating a little puff cloud that fires down, you know, maybe this actually, like, maybe there is a utility mode for this that you can equip that lets you create little floating platforms in front of you, like little, like, cloud puff balls that you can hop onto. That kind of thing. So now you have more uses for each weapon, and now every weapon feels important. Even if you don't use it as a weapon to destroy enemies, you can still use it to move around and reach new things. That'd be my gameplay evolution. So beyond that, extra characters. You know, we have Proto Man, we have Base, we have Roll. You know, we have options now. You know, I would love to be able to play as different characters. And newer Mega Man games have figured that out, but I definitely don't think they go far enough with it. And for enemies and for like boss stages, I like the Mega Man formula of pick any level anytime you want. Keep that. The boss stages, I think it's fine as this one long, difficult gauntlet. The trick to Mega Man games is how do you add more gameplay time to it? Because even a new game in total classic style, you can finish in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's way too short. I would love it to be more story based. So, and I would love it so if each stage had like 3, maybe even 4 sections that felt like full stages themselves. So, you know, you enter like, you know, like, so if Mega Man's got a factory level, stage 1 is getting through outside perimeter of it. Stage 2 would be the first part of the would be like the main section of the factory, and then stage 3 would be like the underground factory where all the like the heavy stuff goes. So you enter into more dangerous locations as you go, and you extend out the stages instead of just like one stage that you can beat in 10 minutes. You get maybe like an hour's worth of gameplay per level, something like that. And like I said, more story driven, like more chances for cutscenes, like a more intricate story than just Wily made robot flu. Go beat robot flu. It's it's 2022. We can create a better story for Mega Man other than robots are getting sick. And I would love for them to do, like, this is just pie in the sky. They'll never do this, but I would love to connect to Mega Man X somehow. We have loose connections with Zero, but I would love for them to explain, you know, like, where Mega Man went. Where did you go? Seriously, where did you go? 100 years ago, 100 years pass and you just vanish. Everyone's still in trouble. You know, you're still supposed to be the protector of humanity. You just left. Someone took your job and you just ran. What happened to you? I kind of want to know what happened to him. I'm waiting for that bridge. I'm waiting for that one game that actually kind of bridges Mega Man and Mega Man X. I wait for the game that bridges X and Zero. I wait for Zero and ZX, which is never going to happen. They're never going to do another ZX. But like I said, this is just me getting thoughts out into the universe. I have no idea if anyone's going to care. But I want to see what people think, and I want to see if, like, because if people latch onto this enough, I will sit down and I will pattern out an entire Mega Man game. I will pattern out, like, these are the 8 bosses. This is the plot. This is what goes on. This is how it ties into a next game. This, etc., etc., etc. I will fanfic the hell out of this entire concept if I have to. But I have to know people want it first. So we'll see how this video does. This is just me, a one Mega Man fan, saying, like, it's time for Mega Man to come back and it's time for him to evolve. And there are ways to do it. Just have to get Capcom to actually care enough about the franchise. Which, if you actually make good games for it, you might get people who care. Kind of the trick to it. So thank you guys for watching, putting up with another one of my rambling random videos, and I will see you the next time. Maybe it's Mega Man, maybe it's another robot. You know, this is just how it goes these days. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.